to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition.
Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod, and another great episode ahead. We've had this on our list for quite a while now. For those of you who don't know, the author, Alan Dean Foster, who is the author of a number of books, I believe The Force Awakens novelization and Splinter of the Mind's Eye, the first EU book ever, has attempted a outline, script, pitch, whatever you want to call it, of episode 9 back in 2022 in sort of retaliation for the backlash of episode 9 that was done by J.J. Abrams and the other guy. So let's dive deep into this thing. We're going to read it page by page with Bryce and Blake. Let's get into it.
Another happy landing.
Guys, we're super stoked that this is the 300th episode of Star Wars Escape Pod, and we couldn't do it without your support, the comments, the subscribes, the follows, the likes on YouTube. Just everyone showing some love and support for Star Wars Escape Pod. It really keeps us going. We are, as you know, unmonetized and completely ad-free. If you are watching on YouTube, you might get those YouTube ads. That is not our decision to make. But, it's from the love of Star Wars that keeps us doing what we're doing, as well as seeing the downloads grow. And as you know, the best way to help us out is always to share this show with a friend. Whenever you meet someone who loves Star Wars, just give them the recommendation to check out the podcast, Star Wars Escape Pod. Shoot them a link. You can check us out on YouTube. All the links are in the description below. Follow us on the Twitter feed, the Instagram. It really just kind of brings attention to the podcast, and we really do appreciate all of you guys tuning in every week, and just showing all that love to Star Wars Escape Pod. So we really do appreciate it, and we just wanted to say thank you. And we recorded this entire episode without realizing that it was the 300th episode for Star Wars Escape Pod. So feels silly after the fact, of course. So here we go. Let's dive right into the episode that we did record originally, which is Alan Dean Foster's episode 9 script outline, whatever you want to call it, with Bryce and Blake. Let's get into it. All right, that boys is the fateful soundtrack of The Rise of Skywalker, the movie that we ended up getting after all.
I think this is gonna be a very fitting soundtrack for tonight. This is the alternate, non-George Lucas alternate story for episode 9.
That's right.
It's really getting me immersed.
That's right.
Hope you guys are ready.
This is really intense, setting the stage.
All right, well, that's it. All right. So, before we get blocked on YouTube. Those of you who listen to the intro, here we are. Welcome back, fellas. And Alan Dean Foster. Did either of you guys read either of his stuff? His novelization of TFA or Splinter?
I think I have a hard copy of Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which was based on the original draft for a sequel after A New Hope, before Empire Strikes Back came out, which was an idea that George was playing with until A New Hope did really well and decided to go in a different direction. But I don't think I've actually read it. I've just looked into it, and it's very strange.
Yeah, I think I read like a comic version of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
That being said, I can't remember really what happens. Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
I know Luke has a confrontation with Vader, and
Yeah.
Luke and Leia are a couple,
Right.
which is really bizarre now after 40 years of them being siblings.
So he also did in 2002, he did a book called The Approaching Storm, which is a prequel era novel. I think it's around the events of Attack of the Clones. So that was another Star Wars book that he did. He's also been an author for a number of Star Trek books. And apparently he had a dispute in 2020 with Disney. Just reading off the Wikipedia here. And a number of other things. He's been known for his Pip and Flinks novels. He's been known for a few standalone Commonwealth novels, the Damned trilogy, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm trying to look and see if there's any.
I did listen to most of the audiobook for the Force Unleashed. Force Awakens film adaptation.
Alien. He worked on the Alien series.
So lots of sci-fi then, lots of different sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like the
universes.
movies?
That's where the link is pointing me, but I'm just looking at the credits, trying to find his name. And maybe in the novelization of the movies. I mean,
That'd be my guess, but at least from everything else he's written, that would make sense, fit into it.
yeah, it must be in the movie novelizations. Yeah. All right. So, big involvement with Disney there. I mean, Disney now owns Fox, so that's a few properties: Alien, Star Wars.
Most importantly, we are establishing this person as a professional writer.
Yeah.
That's what really matters here.
that's what matters the most. This guy's written books.
This guy's career is based around writing.
So the other thing I'll mention though is this is not a full length script. This is 10 pages long. It is
The first draft.
Yeah, first draft. Well, the latest update that he has from his website is the 17th of April 2022. Now, by the date that goes on the document that I saved a while ago was the 1st of May in 2018. So I don't know. I think that was when the article first showed up on his website, perhaps when he started writing this thing. And whatever I've copy pasted, I don't know if that was at the time the 2018 version or if it's the 2022 version. It could be. It's been a while since I've had this in the document, so I mean, I'm not entirely sure. But
So he wrote this soon after Force Awakens was released, right?
The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So,
But 2018 though, that was Last Jedi, I think, that recently came out.
Mhm.
2018, right?
I gotta look it up now.
Or maybe that was 2017. Last Jedi was 2017,
Okay.
and then 2019 was the Rise of Skywalker.
That lines up.
Yeah, he knew that he was gonna dislike Rise of Skywalker so much they had to preemptively write an alternate story.
Oh boy, yeah. So he's got a whole log of updates. I'm trying to think, whether or not that's related to this book. No, that's just stuff about his personal life. His website is designed like it was, straight out of the 90s. So it's just a mess. Just stuff everywhere.
There'll be a link in the description if anyone wants to check it out.
Yeah.
Josh, question mark.
Yeah. I'll throw it down there.
Okay.
I'll throw it down. Okay, so let's start reading this thing. So we'll just go page at a time. Yeah, when you hear someone else speaking, it's just the next page. If there's something, maybe we'll take a break between pages just to quickly talk about anything that stood out to us. But I'll start off here. So something here I wrote down. Shout out to Jenny Nicholson, who originally found this and brought it to my attention. I don't know why I've got that copy down.
I just looked it up. I believe I put that because I sent it to you, and she covered it on her YouTube channel. That's so I stumbled onto it. And I
Gotcha.
thought we just have to talk about this.
Well,
on the podcast.
thank you, Jenny. All right. So we all write our own movies. We all write our own sequels. After seeing The Last Jedi as an author, I could not escape pondering what I would put on screen for episode 9, were I given the opportunity to do so. Unusually, I took the time to actually compose a treatment, and here it is, was fun to put together. Period. That's a message from the author. And here we go. Resurgence, Episode 9. View from overhead of towering snow-capped mountains in the distance, just being touched by a rising sun, then a vast green valley. Continuing to move in closer into a modest group of figures gathered atop a grassy peak, we see that it is the small band of survivors from The Last Jedi. They are standing in a circle, quiet and thoughtful. Closer in on Rey as something causes her to turn, shade her eyes and peer into the distance. Alien music, solemn percussion and brass, close-ups on the mostly humanoid Almarinians, who are accompanied by other aliens and humans, all holding up the artificial torches. Move to a high shot of long, impressive procession winding its way outward from a vast, sprawling modern city. The procession arrives at the greensward and splits, and the end of the two lines forming a greater circle around the band of survivors. Finn, Rey, Poe, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2 say a few words. A simple coffin is brought forward. Through the transparent upper part of the canopy, we see General Organa. A grave appears. As the music rises, she is buried. Bending, C-3PO whispers to a mournful R2. "It looks like Alderaan." Back on the Falcon. Now what? Not much of a resistance left to resist. Some are ready to give up, but not Finn. He angrily points out that he didn't flee the First Order to give up. Poe joins in. They can still muster recruits across the galaxy, but they need some time. More importantly, they need a leader. All eyes turn to Rey. Startled, she declines. C-3PO murmurs to R2-D2 and that there's something familiar about her, but he can't put a finger on it. She's not fit, she tells them. They need someone with military experience, someone who knows what the First Order might do next. Attention immediately shifts to Finn. He's surprised, but having already forcefully stated his intentions, he finally accepts. He's come a long way. Okay, they need pilots, support, and most of all, something to fight back with. Weapons, ships, and if possible, allies.
Wow. All right, what do you think?
It's
Good choice.
It's interesting to set up knowing that coming out of Last Jedi, there's nothing left of the Resistance. It's like 10 guys.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. This acknowledges the death of Carrie Fisher. You know, at this point in 2018, when he started writing this thing,
So
at that point,
it's
it's after she passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, he's kind of worked that into his story, right?
I mean, worked it in. He just lays it all out in the first
Yeah.
30 seconds. It's like
Yeah.
very
If you want to
jarring.
work that in, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more just like getting it out of the way, I think, in his world here.
Yeah, definitely like it just like clearing things up. I like how they look to the like the 20-something-year-olds to be the leader of the resistance when they have like a 700-year-old war vet like Chewbacca there.
All these
That's true.
aliens that are like 400 years old, all eyes turn to Rey.
Yeah.
Because Chewbacca can't speak English.
Oh, we better look over him.
Yeah, basic.
He's just an old dog. What's he gonna do? Can't
right,
make
ready?
a sidekick the hero.
Ready.
All right. R2 and BB-8 beep energetically. The others listen. Finn thinks their joint idea is crazy. Who employs droid tactics? But Poe thinks better of their idea. Might work if it can be brought to fruition. They now have a strategy of sorts. Next, they need allies. What about their hosts, the Almurians? The Almurian Combine is big, developed, and powerful. But the Almurians are neutral, always have been, even during their fight between the Empire and Rebellion. That's why they can host Leia's burial without outside interference. Finn and Rey, with C-3PO in tow, will try to persuade them to change their minds, while Chewie and Poe take R2 and BB-8 to try to recruit new fighters to the cause. Finn and Rey, together with the other survivors, are hosted in the Almurian capital city. They make the argument that the First Order is relentless and won't stop until it completely controls the known galaxy. Finn knows this better than anyone. The Almurians demur. They're neutral and intend to stay that way. Frustration ensues, but Finn murmurs, If they won't join the fight, perhaps they could supply fighting material to be paid later. The Elmurians discuss the matter and are eventually convinced. It's a gamble, but for them, a comparatively safe one. Finn and Rey leave encouraged. Now they need to try to find allies within the First Order itself. More disgruntled fighters like Finn. But where? The Republic is dead. Its home system destroyed. Rose makes a suggestion. It's a daring but dangerous idea, yet it could be the best place to look for silent sympathizers. Rey and Finn are persuaded. Cut to Coruscant, the planet-wide city. Finn, Rey, and Rose make contact with the resistance elements that have gone to ground. They sympathize and would help, but not with Supreme Leader Snoke in charge. Rey, Finn, Rose are shocked by the refusal. Rey saw Ren kill Snoke, cut him in half. The sympathizers don't know what she's talking about. The Supreme Leader is here, having taken over the old Imperial bureaucracy and buildings. What's going on here? Despite the danger, our trio needs to verify this impossibility for themselves. Then something forceful staggers Rey. We zoom into see you on her and cut to Ren, confident but a bit bemused, entering a vast, elegant reception room, the old Imperial quarters. The doors close behind him, and from a small door near the back enters Supreme Leader Snoke. Ren is stunned. Snoke approaches, grinning mirthlessly. Ren, impossible. You're dead. Realization makes him break off as he takes a step back. Snoke, killed me. Yes, you did. Want to kill me again.
I was into it.
You know, something that I just can't stop thinking about is that whether it's this one or Rise of Skywalker, they both brought somebody back from the dead, you know? It's like, come up with a more original villain,
Well,
you know? Like,
what do you do when, like, the bad guy that's been built up in Force Awakens is just off the movie early?
It's worth mentioning the Colin Trevorrow script the idea was to really push Kylo Ren into that villain, into that space. You know, he really becomes and embraces Kylo Ren, the person he's always wanted to be, the shattered helmet and everything. It was, you know, he's kind of become the villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something I think that The Last Jedi was naturally kind of leaning towards, right? Like, he really wanted that, you know, when that movie ended, you know, with that duel between him and Luke and basically destroying what was left of the Resistance, essentially, right? And yet, in this version and in the JJ one, like that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like this one they brought back Snoke, and the other one they have Palpatine back. And
I'm wondering if they're both going to be clones. Is Snoke now going to be like? There's gonna be like 30 Snokes.
I think so. I mean, he is a clone, right? Like
in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
yeah. But this is an alternate world.
Yeah. Do you think that Alan Dean Foster is going with the whole cloning thing as well?
I think so.
I think that seems likely.
Let's find out.
Ren gapes at him. Snoke slightly lunges toward him, acting on instinct. Ren draws his lightsaber and strikes Snoke down. He stares down at the undeniable corpse. Just immediately kills him again.
Wow.
Wait, you're back?
But to kill me again. Oh, there you are. Another one. Okay, back to the script. He stares down at the undeniable corpse, only looking up at the sound of clapping hands. His eyes widen as Snoke appears from the same door near the We call this. Well done, he says. Do you wish to continue killing me, or would you prefer an explanation? Ren has no words.
And strikes him down once more.
Snoke, how many do you have back there?
Just bring them all out.
I don't understand what's happening.
I'm kind of picturing The Simpsons, where Itchy, he kills Scratch and he wants him back, so he clones him. But then the machine keeps pumping up more Scratchies, and he can't kill them fast enough, so he makes a killing machine. so Scratch is just cloned and then immediately murdered, like a meter later. Okay, back to the script. The Clone Wars. When the Imperial scientists got very good at producing clones, a small, brilliant segment perfected the technology. Absolute duplication of the original, down to the last neural connection, which allowed for duplication of knowledge, memories, everything. Perfect cloning. Did Ren really think Snoke would allow him to destroy everything he had worked for? First law of military strategy, always have a reserve in waiting. How many clones of him are there? Ren wonders. Snoke's grin turns into an evil grimace. Wouldn't you like to know? He takes the throne-like seat and beckons a wary Ren forward. The resistance is finished, but the girl is still a concern. However slight, a smart ruler leaves no enemies alive, no matter how few. Ren has a connection with the girl. Is she still alive? And no lies this time. Snoke will know. Ren focuses. We see Rey react again. As before, she knows he knows. Snap back to the palace on Coruscant. Snoke knows the truth about Rey having to say anything. Find her. But what Snoke doesn't know, and what Ren holds back from telling him, is that Rey is right here under the Supreme Leader's nose on Coruscant. In a visit to the Planetary Security Authority, he describes her to the local authorities, utilizing a mind paint system. Guess that's a force power. Or is he just physically painting?
Paint your mind with the most obscene images. No!
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to share that. That was for my private quarters. The word goes out to find her, and Ren, of course, will search for her himself. What he will do when he finds her, he doesn't even know. After Ren has left, Snoke brings in Hux. Time to begin consolidating the achievements of the First Order. Time to bring the reluctant systems into the fold. Hux names several that are ripe for takeover. Snoke nods, names 3, one of which is Alamuria. Rey, Finn, and Rose, accompanied by C-3PO, are gathering those Resistance sympathizers whose hatred of the First Order exceeds the fear of Snoke. It occurs to Finn that they didn't need fleets to stop the First Order. They just need to stop Snoke. Plans are laid for uprising on Coruscant. Montage showing the passage of time during which the uprising is set in motion. The Alamurians produce fighters for the Resistance. Ren and the authorities search for Rey, who has cut herself off from Ren, so he can't pinpoint her location. And Poe and Chewie recruit personnel. On Alamuria, we see the front ends of the new X-Wing being built, but only the front ends.
That's so specific.
Like that.
Very specific.
Do not show any. Like, are the back ends going to be just ridiculous in some way? Like,
There's got to be a reveal, right? There's going to be a lot of junk in these trunks.
Yeah.
There's 5 engines.
We've like a Dodge Caravan. We've loaded the backs up with proton torpedoes. We're gonna fly them right in the snow.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Poe and Chewie arrive and begin to train new pilots. The Almurians remind Poe that they are merely manufacturers and will take no part in any conflict. Chewie offers his opinion on this, and Poe hastens to quiet him. You know Wookiees, not famed for their diplomacy. Secure deep space communications allow Rey and Finn to inform Poe and Chewie of what they're planning. Poe avows as how he is soon as their ships are ready, they'll make the journey to Coruscant to come support the incipient rebellion there. It looks like a promising strategy until the fleet appears off Almuria. It's the First Order under Hux, proclaiming that the Almurian Combine is now officially and gloriously welcomed into the Second Empire. Second Empire? What's that? Hux explains. The Almurians protest that they are neutral. A confident Hux replies that this is all for their own good Better to be part of the glorious Second Empire than continue as some spineless, unprotected neutrals. As
Started to reminds me of Futurama.
Absolutely. Filthy neutrals. You never know which side they're on.
That's right. Classic Zap.
As a part of the Empire, Almeria will be protected. Protected from whom? The Almerians want to know. Why, Hux replies smoothly. Anyone who might threaten them. The Almerians can comply, and all will proceed peacefully, or they will be absorbed through force. An anxious Poe informs Rey of what's happening at Almeria, and that he won't be able to support her proposed uprising. They owe the Almerians a defense. She eyes Finn. Plans for the uprising are in motion. Too late to stop it now. She tells Finn to go ahead and fight before the Order/Empire finds out about their new ships. Finn wishes her luck, vice versa, and may the Force be with them both. On Almeria, a grim-faced Poe and Chewbacca prepare to launch their limited force if the new ships work as planned. They have a chance, even against the Order/Empire fleet. Then the Almerian leader arrives. Poe is coolly polite toward him until the Almerian tells him that the Combine has decided to fight for its neutrality. There's much brotherly grasping of arms, or maybe tentacles. The Almerians will fight alongside the newly formed resistance squadrons. Poe and Chewie are elated.
So if they're fighting to be neutral, does that mean they're no longer neutral?
They become a monster.
Yeah, I don't really know. I
What's
guess
happened to
I
us?
don't think that's how neutrality works.
I also think it's not very neutral to build warships
Fighters.
for like a terrorist organization.
yeah. I like their line in the movie is probably like, "We're not with you, but we have to be." The defense of Almeria is launched. Hux is not impressed. The fleet prepares to exterminate them. Taking over the Combine will proceed that much quicker and easier when any resistance is destroyed. I'm sorry, but the Combine is such a stupid name for whatever's going on here. Like,
Yeah, it's like he used he went on like name generator.
yeah,
Like for a space
synonyms for a
civilization.
rebellion.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up. Definition, because I've heard that as a term for stuff before. To bring into a state of unity.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Combine Alliance.
Yeah.
On Coruscant, Rey and Finn ignite the local rebellion, making progress toward the palace complex. There are enough citizens who hate the Order/Empire to make a real fight of it against the security forces in the city streets, underground, etc. Snoke is informed. He is not worried. Under the stress of combat, Rey lets her guard down for a moment. Ren informs Snoke that she is right there in Coruscant and even now heading toward the palace. Snoke is delighted. Let her come. His last concern will be eliminated, just as the Skywalker line has been terminated. Which prompts Ren to ask why Snoke cares so much. Snoke's expression tightens, and we get a fast-moving flashback to before Episode 1, to before Episode 4.
What?
Oh, I like where this is going.
So we're getting 2 flashbacks?
I guess so.
I guess so.
Man.
I do want to take. I'm gonna take a guess here. So originally, in the first page, you refer to the First Order as First Order, and then in this page, it was all First Order/Empire.
Second Empire, yeah.
I'm gonna guess by the last page, it's just gonna be called the Empire.
Yeah.
Just backsliding.
We're back. Huh. All right.
Ooh, this is a good start. You're gonna like this one. You're lucky.
A younger, muscular, even handsome
Ooh.
figure that we recognize as Snoke. He's only slightly deformed now. Bullying others, taking what he wants because he can, leaning towards the dark side. He is confronted by another, a hooded figure, who warns him that he is set on an untenable path. Snoke is not afraid. He feels he is more powerful with the Force than anyone. He and the hooded figure fight in a factory where Snoke is knocked into a vat of chemicals, and we finally see the determined yet sympathetic figure of his opponent, a young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh my gosh. Back in the palace, Snoke turns on Ren and his fury causes even Ren to draw back. Did he think, Snoke declares as he indicates his ravaged face, that he always looked like this?
Hello there.
He vowed vengeance on Kenobi and any of his relatives and every one of his pupils. Working through Palpatine, he almost achieved his goals until Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, was turned away from the dark side by his son and killed Palpatine. Snoke has always been there in the background, manipulating, scheming, but with Palpatine's death was forced to come out into the open. Now, Kenobi is dead. Anakin, Vader, is dead. Leia is dead. And finally, Luke Skywalker is dead. Only Ren lives, but as a disciple of Snoke. The best revenge on Kenobi. But Snoke did not foresee this girl, who is strangely strong with the Force. She is not a Kenobi, not a Skywalker, but she is the last unprecedented impediment to his rise to complete power and mastery of the Force. Snoke takes no chances. She must die. And she is coming here, right to him. Truly, the ways of the Force are rich with irony. We cannot tell what Ren is thinking. Above Almuria Prime, the Almurian fleet is escorted out by the Resistance ships. But these X-Wings are of a new type. Front and rear are familiar enough, but they are connected by a tube-like six-sided central length of fuselage. Poe and Chewie lead them. Poe with BB-8, Chewie piloting the Falcon with R2. Poe tells BB-8 that this droid strategy better work. On board the Force/Empire flagship, Hux checks with his crew. The Almurian fleet is stronger than expected, but nothing they can't handle. It also seems escorted by a group of X-Wings. That causes Hux to frown. It was believed that the Resistance was dead. How many fighter escorts? About 100, he is told. Hux relaxes. Well, after this battle, the Resistance really will be finished. Hux prepares to launch the TIE fighters. Combat ensues. The Almurians launch drone ships that jump to hyperspeed. But they do nothing. Aboard his flagship, Hux smiles. His subordinates report that the new hyperspace defensive shields are working as intended, shunting anything coming at them at light speed into hyperspace. Somewhere else. Fool us once, Hux murmurs. Launch fighters.
So this is their new defense against the hyperspace. What do they call it? There's like, they named it after the captain, right?
Yeah, the Holdo maneuver.
The Holdo maneuver.
But this whole script just seems like a direct response to Last Jedi. He's like,
Yeah.
right? Like there's no subtlety.
Nope.
No, it's
Nope.
just
Nothing.
how do we fix these new giant plot holes?
Yeah.
Well, okay. One thing I just don't like at all is that they made Snoke the master behind the master this entire time. You know,
Well, we'd always speculated that he was Plagueis. Now he's just the
but
cartoon version
that
of
would have
Plagueis.
been sort of, you know, like the way he words it though, right? It's like he's been working through Palpatine this entire time. Not that he's been hiding in the shadows to let his his apprentice fail at whatever he tried to do, right?
Well, on top
Like-
of that, he was defeated by Kenobi, and Kenobi didn't know who he was. But he was in control of Palpatine the whole time. How does that work?
Haven't learned anything.
Obi-Wan's like, yeah, he's just some thug I knocked in a vat of acid.
No. Who was that guy? I don't know. Just some guy.
Just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy. I
Just
knock
some
bad
dude.
guys into acid and lava.
He'll be fine. He'll come back, maybe a little deformed, but he'll live.
Oh, jeez.
What's he gonna do? Raise an entire empire?
I bet you he's so dumb, even when he clones himself, he'll clone himself as his deformed version.
Why would he not fix his face?
Joke's really on him.
The
huh?
cloning is just so perfect.
Yes, it's too perfect.
It's too perfect.
Take it back. we want to fix some of this. Not 100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
What if this X-Wing design is pretty bizarre,
Yeah.
right? It's like they're like connected.
I think what it's trying to explain is like it's really long and there's like a middle section in between the wings and the cockpit.
Another X.
But
Double X fighter.
no, it's literally like a big long tube. That's how I read it. So it's kind of like the Volkswagen bus of X-wings.
Yeah, they're like it's like an X-wing centipede,
Or like
it's
a or like a limo, like a X-wing limo.
front and rear are familiar enough, but they are connected by a tube-like six-sided central length of fuselage.
So six-sided, as in, is the shape of like a stop sign. I guess an octagon, but it's similar enough.
That's so weird.
This is a hexagon.
Like
Long
I guess
hexagon.
the snout of the original X-wing is
It
like a
is-
hexagon,
Yeah, yeah.
right? It's like a
Yeah.
yeah. But this is octagon.
No, sorry, that was
Oh.
me.
Oh,
talking
okay.
about being like somewhat.
Hexagon. It's similar
Yeah.
enough. So what he's getting at, it's a next gen X-wing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like for a second I thought the X-wings
They're
were
all like connected
combined.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought first too.
Yeah, but it's just like I
They're
don't know.
connected by tubes.
I don't know why he points this out. It's
Evasive
just like-
maneuvers. Oh no!
It's a next gen X-wing fighter that when we fly in formation, your front end goes up my back end.
What
We
could
all
possibly
link
go wrong?
together and fly as one combine.
That's why we only need one pilot because we keep losing.
The idea
Wow.
came to
That's
me
why
when I
a,
was
sing-
watching
a
this
single
movie.
man can fly the entire fleet. Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, the idea came to me. I was watching this movie called Human Centipede. Okay, shall we?
Yep.
All right. Hundreds of TIE fighters join with fire from the First Order capital ships to blast the oncoming Almurians and X-wings. Chewie roars, but Poe tells his pilots, "Not yet. Getting closer. Closer. Now. Deploy!" On each of the 6 sides of the extended X-wings, 4 bay doors snap open. Okay, I'm going to call it here. They're buzz droids.
Yeah.
Throwback.
Buzz droids.
Buzz droids. 4 bay doors snap open. Out zoom 24 drones. Engine, no pilots, a single energy weapon each. Poe grins. Chewie roars. BB-8 and R2 beep. This is a big scene. On board the First Order Empire flagship, a suddenly concerned tech eyeing a tracking screen sees the dots representing the Resistance fighters. Suddenly goes from hundreds to 2,500, filling the screen with enemies. He turns. General Hux? Sir? Hux moves to eye the screen and his eyes widen. Each X-Wing commands 24 drones, all of which in a perfect tandem with each commanding X-Wing pilot. Mirroring images of his maneuvers, Poe whoops and Chewie bellows as they attack. The oncoming TIE fighters are overwhelmed by the utterly unexpected show of force, and the Resistance fighters supported and backed by the Almuri fleet, start to attack the main body of the First Order fleet. Screens are saturated and shattered. Ships are flamed, and just as Hux orders a retreat to hyperspace, his own ship is blasted. Something startles Chewie. We see the Falcon pull away and out of the fight. As Poe circles and shoots in triumph at the remaining First Order ships, his expression abruptly changes as he remembers Rey. Coruscant. A First Order / Empire security and crowd control battle the surging crowds. Rey, Finn, Rose, and supporters take down guards and fight their way to the palace complex. Finn doesn't know which way to go. C-3PO isn't sure, but Rey knows. She can sense Ren. They fight their way into the reception room. Ren is there. Asks her to surrender. They can't win, Rey argues. Ren steps aside to reveal Snoke. He greets her. She and Finn are shocked. Stunned, C-3PO is in oh dear mode. She looks at Ren. Clone, he tells her. Perfect clone. Indistinguishable from the original. How many, she asks. Ren doesn't know. More than she could defeat. Certainly more than he could. More than they could together. So he's gone fully back to the dark side? He drops his head. Snoke just laughs. This time, he won't make the same tactical error he made before. Not that it matters if he does. He looks to his right. 2 more Snokes come through the rear door, activating her saber. Rey tells Finn and Rose to get out, continue the fight elsewhere. She'll try to hold them off here. No way, they tell her. They fire their weapons. The trio of Snokes ward off the shots. Snoke freezes the trio. Rey drops her saber. Snoke orders Ren to complete the work, to complete himself. Firing up his saber, Ren approaches the paralyzed Rey.
Who struggles futilely
Futility?
futilely to reach her own weapon, now lying quiescent on the floor.
This guy's choice of words is ridiculous sometimes. Like,
It quivers, but it does not come to her. Outside the palace, guards are firing from the ramparts down into the crowd. Something makes them look up. They panic and abandon their posts as the heavy weapons are destroyed. It's the Falcon, with Chewie piloting and firing. After clearing an upper landing area, it touches down. Inside, Ren is clearly torn. He doesn't want to kill Rey, but he can't resist Snoke any longer. He apologizes, steps back, raises his saber, and strikes. Finn and Rose scream. At the last possible instant, something knocks Rey aside. Even so, Ren blow cuts the upper
Ren's blow cuts.
Ren's blow cuts the upper right side of her scalp. She falls to the floor, gasping. Ren stands over her, lightsaber poised to strike. And then Ren, Finn, Rose, and C-3PO, everyone, look to the main portal, their expressions reflecting the utter astonishment. A single figure stands there, Luke Skywalker. He comes forward. Impossible. He's dead. We saw him die at the end of episode 8. Or did we? Snoke, 1, growls.
They're numbered now.
They're numbered.
You cannot be here. I searched for you. Your life force has vanished from perception.
From this plane of existence, yes. Doesn't mean I passed to the other. I knew you. I knew you. Keep searching for him. Man, this guy didn't spell check.
I knew you'd.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd. Oh, okay. Oh, mine, the D is missing.
Yeah, mine too.
Mine too. You have to interpret it.
I knew you'd keep searching for me, using the Force. So I had to go away for a while. To that space in between. It's a quiet place. The Force allows it. He smiles. I was tired. I needed a rest anyway. Ren screams that it's a projection, just like on Crate, and attacks. But this time, Luke doesn't duck his strike. In one smooth motion, he activates his saber, his original saber, blocks the blow, and flings Ren aside. But the real battle is between him and Snoke, or rather, Snokes. Descending down from his seat, Snoke ignites a saber of his own. So do his 2 doppelgangers. The fight is on. Luke kills one Snoke, fights the remaining pair. Elsewhere, at the battle between the uprising and the security and guards rages, Finn and Rose retreat. Outside among the chaos, they hurriedly discuss what they've seen. Snoke clones have come from somewhere. They race off. With Luke and Snoke's clones occupied with one another, Ren reaches down, extending a hand to Rey. He notices something and freezes. We see what he sees. Rey on the floor, breathing hard. The upper right side of her head cut away and cauterized. Amid the exposed bone, a small freeform transparency fills part of her head.
What?
I don't know.
Well, the rest of the sentence is on the next page.
You can
Yeah,
finish,
melding sinuously with her brain.
Sinuously.
Thank you. Okay, what the heck?
Finish the paragraph.
Behind the transparency, lights flash and twinkle. Reaching up, Rey touches the exposed area and draws back her hand in shock. The revelation is as unexpected to her as it is to us.
All right,
Rey's
I'm into this.
Robot?
I love this.
Okay, so
She's like a android or something.
it looks like Rey's an android. Finn is the leader we always knew he could be, but he still really isn't in the movie. And there's like 30 Snokes.
And Luke Skywalker
Luke's back.
somehow's back.
That's everything I
his
ever
nap.
dreamed of. That's right. He just needed to.
He just needed a nap.
He just needed to go to the
I
world
just
between
needed
the
to
worlds.
go
for a
away
nap.
for a while to Beach Planet.
I was very tired. That planet I was on.
It says
Those little twerps are always partying. Could get any rest.
Just needed to hit the Scarif beaches for a while.
So it's funny that Snoke 1 is so the first Snoke that they kill is not Snoke 1. That's like
Right.
Snoke 2,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
This
now,
is Snoke 1.
yeah.
And then Luke kills one Snoke,
But
but not
it's not
Snoke 1.
1. Correct.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, here we go. Ren, droid, part droid. No wonder you mastered the use of the Force so quickly. No wonder you learned so quickly. Hybrid, monster. All sympathy, all potential affection vanishes from him in an instant. He strikes down with his lightsaber, rolling. Rey dodges the blow, grabs her own weapon, ignites it, and fights back. They battle. Luke kills another Snoke. He forces the last one backward. Snoke taunts him. Truly, you are a master of the Force, Skywalker, but so am I, and you are done. Or one.
Nice.
Just improving it. Looks towards the back door. I am a multitude. From the rear doorway, more Snokes burst into the room, all armed with lightsabers. As Ren and Rey battle behind him, Luke prepares to confront a surge of identical newcomers.
It's like the Battle of Geonosis, but they're just all Snokes.
It sounds like it feels like Scooby Doo. Like they're just coming out of like all the doors and like. Luke prepares to confront the surge of identical newcomers. C-3PO tries to flee, encounters the chaos outside, and quickly retreats back, in wondering how he ever got into this mess. Amid the combat raging outside, Finn and Rose save a high official from being killed by the mob. The Supreme Leader's clones. Where do they come from? They persuade the official to show them and head off, but not before they've acquired some grenade-like weapons from a dead security personnel. Down they go into the sublevels beneath the palace complex. The frightened official shows them the guarded place where Snoke's clones are churned out. Finn and Rose attack. While Finn holds off the guards, Finn sets the explosives they have acquired, only for her to be trapped with them inside the complex as alarms blare and the emergency doorways slam shut. She and Finn exchange a look. Above, more and more Snokes pour into the room. Snoke snarls at Luke. Give up. He can't possibly win. Stepping back, Luke bends, picks up a fallen lightsaber. Maybe he can't, but he feels that the Force is with him. It always has been, even when he is at his lowest moments. Also, these are with him. He activates the second lightsaber and begins to swing both, making 2 circles. He learned this from General Grievous. Then he starts to cross them in front of him. And then he begins to pivot faster and faster. A veritable dervish. Surrounded by a ball of multicolored energy, he plows into the multiple Snokes, obliterating them. They can't reach him through the energy sphere he's created around himself. Nearby, Ren presses Rey. They lock sabers. He taunts her. She came from nowhere. Her parents were nobodies. He will show her. Let her look. She tries to resist, but cannot. In her mind, she sees a rapid montage. Her parents, junk dealers with an infant with a deformed skull. They take her to a renegade surgeon on Jakku. There is one possible operation, but it's experimental and highly dangerous. It could kill her. Her parents agree to it. Rey is operated on. The shape of her head is normal. It's made normal, but with part droid componentry inside to help keep her alive.
Man, this sucks.
Holy smokes. I love this.
This is great.
This is so good.
Yeah, you see why I wanted to talk
Wow.
about this?
Keep
This is
going,
amazing. This is professional level screenwriting. Natural skin and hair grows swiftly over the surgical opening. Her parents can't handle her. They abandoned her as a young girl. She's too much. We have to leave her here on this planet.
Gonna pay the medical bills.
They just ditch her there. Gotta work it off. They abandoned her as a young girl, paying what they can to Unkar Plutt to look after her. He abandons her as a child, but she turns scavenger and somehow survives. Ray is shaken by the recovered memories. She relaxes, sways, shuts off her saber. Ren holds off, still conflicted, but finally decides that he has to kill her, to save her from herself, to purify the Force. For her own sake. She falls backward, her eyes closing in resignation and exhaustion as he moves in, right into her reactivated lightsaber. As her eyes snap open. Startled, run through, and as conflicted as ever, Ren dies in front of her, killed in the same way he killed his father.
What?
So, like, Han Solo.
What a
She
lame
falls
death.
backwards though. So she like fakes death like a possum.
Yeah, exactly. I was just saying, she plays possum.
She does one of those Obi-Wans. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ha! Oh, I lost myself.
Luke, exhausted.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Luke, exhausted, halts. The fireball that has surrounded him vanishes. 3 Snokes remain. The first leader is triumphant. A Jedi Master may go on, but a lightsaber power is finite. The tree of Snoke surround him. It's over. So his lightsaber ran out of power?
I don't know, man. That's
That's never
the
happened
fireball. I don't know.
Man,
I don't
he
know
must
what's
have killed
going on.
so many Snokes.
He just might be ready for another nap.
He's just
I
tired.
think he's tired.
He just
Again,
need to
yeah.
lay down for a little while. Below, Finn yells at the imprisoned Rose, but she smiles at him. A resigned smile as she sets off the explosives. Finn ducks away. The clone manufacturing area is destroyed. I think she might have just died. Above, a startled Snoke reacts
Yes!
with his attention momentarily distracted. Luke reactivates his twin sabers and throws them. 2 Snokes are speared and killed. The surviving Snoke looks toward the rear doorway, but there are no more Snokes. No more replacement first leaders. The many have been reduced to 1, but it is enough. Raising his own weapon, he starts forward. Luke waits for the end. Luke! Rey throws him her lightsaber. Luke catches it and ends Snoke. He stumbles over to Rey, and she falls against him, sobbing. We see the exposed part of her brain twinkling. He called me a monster. I am a monster! Luke steps back, eyes her, and holds up his mechanical hand. You're not a monster. You're Rey. Just an enhanced version. Together, they head to the reception room. Above Amuria, Poe and R2 are triumphant. So are the Amurians, but they still determinedly neutral. We have finished fighting this war of neutrality. At last, we are neutral once more. It's just so pointless. Where are we? Their leader warns Poe. Sure, whatever you say. Grinning, Poe replies, Resistance needs more neutrals like them. R2 informs him that via the secret hyperspace communications channel that he has been told that the first leader is no more and that Rey and Finn are all right. Rose, Finn, and R2 turn sober. Soberly, I assume that means. They head back down to the surface of Almeria. In the palace on Coruscant, the victorious uprising salutes Luke and Rey as they emerge from the palace into the surrounding area, which is littered with smoking fighting machines, etc. C-3PO, brushing himself, follows behind as they lay eyes upon the hundreds and hundreds of dead Snokes.
C-3PO. I knew there was something familiar about that girl, he mutters. Luke suddenly staggers. Has to sit down up against a tree in the Imperial Park. A concerned Rey bends over him. He smiles. It's all right. Everything is all right now. The Force is finally in balance. She tells him he's going to be okay. He tells her he already is okay. There is, however, one small thing she has to do for him. What? Anything. He smiles tiredly. Just a little thing. Take care of the galaxy. He looks toward the setting sun. One sun this time. His smile widens. He stops breathing. No in-between existence this time. He whispers something. And Peru. And dies. Eyes open. Staring.
Damn.
What? And Peru.
No graceful exit, and Aunt Beru gets the last call out. He just like so
dies
many
there.
people like hoping it was them. He was gonna say like,
Oh,
So
but
many-
nothing like, not even like, Father,
yeah.
I'm coming home.
He's
or
like
something.
so many upset Force ghosts. Like what?
And Peru, this was all for you.
You see Aunt Brood, black shades and a big chain just nodding in the background.
You see Aunt Beru, a skeletal burnt corpse, Force ghost. Just, I love you, son.
I also love that he just dies there.
Oh,
like
man.
Ray's probably like, Luke? He just like topples over.
There's a little bit more. Holding back her sobs, Rey gently closes his eyes. C-3PO is there to comfort her. What now? Wait, what? So he doesn't disappear into the Force?
No, he dead.
He died of natural causes.
Yeah, holding back her sobs. Rey gently closes his eyes, so his body's still there. C-3PO is there to comfort her. What now? Is the First Order Empire really finished? C-3PO doesn't know. But he has seen a great deal. And if he has learned anything, it is that nothing is ever really completely for certain. Reaching up, he touches her exposed skull portion. Has anyone told her lately how really beautiful she is? What? She sniffs, then starts to laugh softly. Then her expression changes as she sees Finn, battered but alive. Limping out of the smoking Imperial complex, he comes toward her, and she rises to meet him. C-3PO shakes his head dolefully. Organics. I'll never understand them. We pull back as Finn hurries to embrace Rey, with 3PO behind them, and Luke sitting peacefully smiling beneath the tree.
What?
Dead, mind you.
Yeah, just a corpse.
Just a corpse smiling.
Ugh.
And end. That's the end.
Is this Force ghost Luke sitting on the tree?
Just his
Or is
body,
he
man.
actually alive again?
No, I think so. So in here, it says
Zombie?
that he dies, right?
Yeah.
So it says he says Amperu and dies, eyes open, staring,
Smiling.
and then all this stuff happens, and then Finn shows up, and Ray's like, Ray gets up, and is like Finn, and then like C-3PO just shakes his head like organics, screw these guys, and like leaves like smiling dead Luke underneath the tree, just sitting there, and then they
like
embrace,
Imagine
Wonderland.
this.
and that's it. Cut to black.
Star Wars ends. the Skywalker series ends with C-3PO hitting on Rey, and then Rey is like, haha, and goes to Finn.
Yeah.
And C-3PO is like, freaking organics. He's like angry that Rey like left.
And then zooms in on Luke's corpse. Not even a Force ghost. Not reunited with Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, he gets screwed
corpse.
over this time. It's like, it's like expired all his chances to become immortal.
Dude, this guy loves 3PO.
Yeah, he
Loves him
does.
a lot.
He does. There's a note at the very end. This story follows upon the events of episode 8, expanding upon them, correcting certain errors, and filling in plot holes, and without contradicting anything that appeared in the previous film. That which could not be corrected is passed over.
Which could not be corrected. I just did whatever.
Man.
There's nothing I could do.
That which
This
was
can't
too
be
bad
fixed.
to fix, I've just skipped.
I've just ignored entirely.
Wow.
This guy, man, like whatever. I mean, this is an esteemed Star Wars author. You know, like he's written a number of books. He's for Disney, you know, on multiple occasions. This guy did the novelization for The Force Awakens. That was his most recent Star Wars thing.
I think that's probably why. My guess is he because he wrote that, he felt invested.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't like The Last Jedi and
Right.
felt like he had to fix what happened. That's my guess.
You know, it's so bad that I just don't want to read the Force Awakens novelization now. Like, you know, like I never really did, but like at the same time, it's like, dude, you know, like this is just terrible.
It's interesting because sometimes when people like, if I were to write a script for Rise of Skywalker, I would try to incorporate the Last Jedi and kind of like work it into something, right? But he has written his sequel, and he's just like, I'm not using anything from that garbage movie. Like, I'm just gonna go with what I wanted to see in the last movie, and just like kind of like write over the Last Jedi, right?
Just try to remove it. What's
Yeah.
funny is he had to invent something to stop hyperspace jumps when that already existed in the Empire.
Yeah, like there's no subtlety in what he's doing. He's like, I like Luke Skywalker, he's back.
Yeah.
Like I don't
I don't
like
like
the hyperspace
Rey.
thing.
She's a robot.
They got a thing to stop it now.
It's not great.
He's
I mean,
not
I
really
like,
like Rey. She's now like a robot, like
Yeah.
like with
3PO's love interest.
Yeah.
I mean, 3PO needs some love too.
because Luke is pretty much the main character in this script, right? Like
at least at the end of it.
at the end, because
Yeah.
Rey doesn't really have any. She finds out where she's, but it's kind of insignificant, right?
I don't like. So the thing with a movie is like it's usually like a three. What do you call it?
Like a 3-part story.
A 3-part story. Yeah, 3-part story arc, right? And like this script just doesn't really give me that at all. It's mostly
Right.
just like
Well-
lead up to this. I don't know.
I like this on Coruscant. That's a positive.
It seems like the moment that Rey encounters Snoke, it just kind of keeps going in like one sort of trajectory. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there's no
twist.
No,
Like,
there's
the
no-
twist is there's now like hundreds of Snokes.
Yeah, the twist is that people keep showing up in this palace, you know, like
I
Luke
love-
and 50 other Snokes. And
Do you think that it would be considered jumping the shark to take the big bad that was led up to be the villain and just have him murdered hundreds and hundreds of times? Just as cannon fodder? Can you imagine that many Palpatines?
it's just so stupid. I mean, like, I see the thing is like in Rise of Skywalker, at least they did us the favor of not showing other Palpatines. You know what I mean? I think that would have been a
I agree
little.
with that, but I think they should have had more Snokes because you see them in the vat. So why wouldn't he? I think it would have been a nice touch
Right.
to have Snokes there that were like his servants or whatever.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know. That
failed,
just come to me now. It was like
failed clones of Snoke or
a
whatever.
good
Yeah,
nod. Yeah.
because Snoke is just like supposed to be a creation of his own, right? Like it's just
It's
like
not really explained. Just see that he's in tanks.
yeah.
I kind of wish they would have stayed with Snoke as the big bad guy,
Yeah, I
Like,
agree with that.
right?
I'm okay with him having him come back. I'd rather him come back than Palpatine.
And I don't mind the clones. I actually don't mind this. What I think they should have done is
Snoke clones, you mean? In the
Snoke clones. Yeah,
this-
I actually
okay.
don't mind it. Not like 100 of them. What I think they should have done is something that they did in like the Apple TV series Foundation. Have a Snoke clone of like there's like 3 of them, right?
Oh,
There's like a
yeah.
young one, a middle-aged one, and like the old Snoke clone,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they kind of like rule in a triumvirate, like 3 of them rule, so that the one that was killed can stay dead, right?
Yeah.
But then there's like the young like Snoke that shows up and he's really good with the lightsaber, and then there's the super old Snoke who's like really powerful with the Force, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that would have kind of been cool, actually.
That would have been that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get to see Handsome Snoke, the one that like
The one that
throw it in the
Obi-Wan
vat of
beat up.
acid.
I also just would love to see that as a flashback in the middle of a movie.
Yeah.
Just Obi-Wan just, ha! And just like pushes
wonder-
some guy into a vat of acid.
What if that's like the what do you call it, like an induction? You know, the initiation day. You know, whenever the young Snoke becomes like the middle prime Snoke,
Yeah.
he has to like dunk himself in acid,
Don't make me do it.
like a rite of passage?
like a
Tradition.
baptism in acid kind of thing.
Can you imagine
You are
look-
now Snoke, truly.
you look down at the acid and you look over at the two other deformed Snokes as they're looking at you. Go on.
That's my boy.
Just dunk your face in the acid, son. It's how you claim your destiny.
So when that Snoke becomes when he has to dunk his face in the acid, what happens to the oldest one?
That's a good question.
And then does a new one get born? Because that's kind of what
Yeah.
happens
Yeah,
in
I
the
don't
series,
know.
right?
Well, okay, so
Wow.
how many Pablo points and poodoos are we gonna give this? Like,
Oh, did you get the new recording for our ratings?
no, I didn't. So Pablo
Ah.
points and poodoos. We got so people who are new to the podcast, you know, if this is your first episode listening, I'm sorry. But you know, like our rating system is 3 Pablo poodoos is the worst. Moving up from there, we got 2 Pablo poodoos, 1 Pablo poodoo, and then a Bendu. Bendu is a 50% score, and then we got Pablo points. We got 1 Pablo point, 2 Pablo points, and 3 Pablo points being the best of the best. So this is clearly not in the Pablo points. So we are giving
Speak for
these.
yourself.
We are giving this some poodoos, and I'm gonna go with 3 out of 3 on this one. I gotta say, I mean, like it doesn't help that it's like an outline, right? Like I'll give him
No,
that.
it's very rough.
It's very
Yeah,
rough.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very rough. He probably did it in like a couple days.
You
You
said
know,
there's a 2022 version, so
I
I'm
got-
curious what's been updated.
it's just it's the small things that bother me. You know, it's like, why is Luke's corpse sitting smiling under a tree at the end of the movie? Like, no, like I don't want to see that.
Yeah, you want to see him fade off into the force. Like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird that
why
he
are his
rests.
last words?
Why
And
would
these
he
were,
rest?
it was in quotes too. Like, why does he
Sleep, I
say
must.
Aunt Peru?
That's not explained.
No, it's not explained at all.
Uncle Owen was mean.
Aunt Beru is my favorite character, and she was never brought up again. So this is my chance.
She never made me do chores.
All I've done is chores since I left that planet. Aunt Beru.
I just don't get it, man. Like, it's those little things that just like kind of irk me and go, did you even think about this story being a Star Wars story at all? You know what I mean? It's just like, rather than, because you could change all these names and it would be a completely unrelated movie. You know, that wouldn't make sense with like anything else. Right. And I don't even think you'd get the idea that it was a Star Wars story if you changed all the familiar words in it. It just doesn't have that pacing at all. You know, all these, it's so weird. It's so out there. But I don't know. But what about you guys?
I'm gonna give it a Bendu.
What?
Wow. Oh man.
Because this changes nothing. It's neither good nor bad. It doesn't. It's both the worst and the best. It's absolute garbage, but it's also so funny.
It's so funny.
And Luke truly does bring balance to the Force by killing, genociding like 100
Yeah.
Snokes. He finally does it. So
Killed a whole
giving it a
race of
Bendu.
Yeah, he
Snokes.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. True balance. 50-50 Bendu.
There we go.
Force is balanced.
At long last.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna break it down. So start as 3 Papa Poodoos. Ray being a robot, I like it. So we're up to a 2. And is the 3PO's love interest. All right.
Yeah.
We're up to a -1. Was there anything else I liked in there? I like the idea that it helped by the neutrals that are at war to stay neutral. So we're at a Bendu.
Okay, that was funny when he was like when Poe's like, I like these neutrals. Like we should find more neutrals. That was actually funny.
I need to recruit more of these neutrals to join the war cause.
Yeah.
I wonder if he intended that to be a joke.
Maybe I think Poe was supposed
Or if
to
it
be
just-
a bit
Yeah, you're
slow.
right. I don't think he did.
That
would be good.
overlooked.
That would be a.
Okay.
You're
I'm
at
at-
-2.
I'm at a Bendu now.
Oh, you're at a Bendu.
Yeah,
oh, you
because it's-
Oh, nice.
It's Ray's a robot.
Yeah.
3PO's in love with Ray. The neutrals.
Yeah.
What's left? Was there anything else that I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think the Army of Snokes was an improvement. So I'm gonna go 1 Pablo point.
Nice.
Well, 1 Pablo point for comedy. We got a Bendu for comedy, and I thought it was just terrible. So there we go. Across the board. Read it for yourself. The link's going to be in the description below.
This is real. We didn't make
This
up.
is real. We got a number of topics coming up in the next few weeks. We got one about Star Wars gripes, fans need to move on from, things that we think are still relevant to stay bitter at. Kyle's going to join us for that as well. And I think we have a KOTOR movie discussion at some point, although we might change the topic of that one. Who knows? Any last things you guys want to bring up?
Just looking forward to seeing your script for Rise of Skywalker.
Heck yeah.
Since you think you can outdo this guy.
This is a pretty good idea. I don't know if I can top this.
I don't think I can outdo the comedy, that's for sure. I think he's got the laughs down better than I could ever do, just for ridiculousness, But who knows? I mean, like, I've made some pretty horrendous, like, hilariously, accidentally funny things.
I think we should all ride around.
Do a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this episode for a long time. I stumbled across this initial treatment.
It's been a while since we've had this in the backlog of things to do.
I forgot about it. I'm glad it took long enough that I completely forgot what we were gonna read.
It seems
I
like
just remember really liking it.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
The timing is kind of well placed with sort of like what George would have done with the sequels. Now we know what Alan Dean Foster would have done with Episode 9.
Do we want? I know you've talked about it before, but I think I missed it. Do we want to do a trio, us three, just to kind of complete the trilogy and do
the Colin Trevorrow thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll do that as well. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, we'll do make it a trio. Yeah, what all the different three takes that we could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I don't think Alan Dean Foster is anywhere close to being a possibility.
I think it might be the most fan fiction version.
100%. Yeah. Next thing is we got to go on like Wattpad or whatever that thing is called and find some fanfic episode 9s.
I'll bet you there's a lot.
All right.
Send in your drafts.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll read them on the podcast.
Actually, that would be fun.
That would be.
Just reading. Yeah. We will read it. Bring it on. Send it to us.
I'll try and find some hot takes when we do the Colin Trevorrow one. Like, we'll try and find some hot takes. Like, what do people think as a group, like what should have happened, differently, right? Just general, like, opinions. Fellas, we'll see you in the next one.
And Peru.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. What a strange episode if this was your first. I mean, we don't normally look at completely fanfic scripts of Star Wars movies, but, we just had to do this. We just had to. It was just too good not to. So we hope you enjoyed the laughs and, stick with us in the coming weeks for other good stuff. We got Kyle coming back on with us, as I mentioned before as well, very soon. And by the way, if you haven't checked out ALKY Sabers, ALKY Solutions, go and check that out. Links are in the description below. Many ways to contact us. You know how to reach us. Also in the description, find us with the handle @SW Escape Podcast. And we will see you in the next episode of Star Wars Escape Pod. May the Force be with you.